Hi guys, welcome back. I don't know if we're actually welcoming you back because uni's hard to manage YouTube with also, but maybe welcome back, and if not, welcome back to our one video.
One-off special, New Year special.
I don't know if you remember me or this lovely lady next to me because I haven't been around and neither has she. So, in case you guys haven't noticed, it is the beginning of a new year. Happy
New Year.
Happy 2019.
2019.
This is where all the bullshit begins again. Of
You need to
going on a
lose
diet.
weight. Yeah.
And we decided it was a perfect time. We have just reunited after way too long of not being together. That sounded like we're dating, but we are. Yes. I've lost track of
Basically, everyone will now be telling you need to lose weight because it's a new year and you need to make yourself better by losing weight.
We're here to tell you that that's bullshit. So we kind of wanted to start off talking about the fact that you, as a person, like, this isn't like a thing that, I don't know how to phrase this.
Started off very well. What are you trying to say?
That, like, you don't even realise, like, how much diet culture is, like, around you and how it affects you.
You don't realise how much diet culture is around you.
Yeah. So people, like, I myself and Kirsty before, like, a year or two, a year and a half ago, we didn't really realise either how much, like, diet culture is, like, literally everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
And it's so, like, subliminal as well. Like, it's in places and ways that you don't even realise. So, to give you guys an example, today I was out shopping and I was in Primark, and literally the first, like, stall that you see when you walk in is the workout clothes, and they weren't there before. It's literally just sort of like, it, like, feeds into the whole idea of, like, oh, it's the new year, now you have to go get a gym membership and, like, lose all this weight that you don't need to.
Gym memberships, they're like £1 if you join, like, in the new year.
Yeah. It's just, it's a ploy for money, and it really, really angered me because it's like the shops know that they're benefiting and they're, like, selling a lie that people will keep buying into. Like, they will benefit off the fact that people hate their bodies and the fact that people think they need to change them. And here's, like, all this gear to help you, and you need a new pair of leggings every time you go to the gym.
It makes you feel pressured, because when I was walking past all the sports stuff in Primark, it was like, oh, it looks so pretty, I want to buy some, but I was like, no, I don't
need it,
because like, I'm not gonna start going to the gym just because it's the new year. Like, but I think a lot of people would do that because they're like, oh, gym stuff,
and this will get me motivated to go to the gym. Let me get myself some new stuff. That's how I used to think of it. It was like, oh, if I buy myself some new workout clothes, I'll be motivated to go to the gym. If I just didn't like the gym. No one really, well, not no one, I can't speak for everyone, but most people don't really like going to the gym and putting their bodies through hell.
It's kind of like, if you really wanted to go, it wouldn't matter what you were wearing. Like, you would enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. So if you are trying to buy new workout clothes to make yourself go to the gym, just quit the gym. You obviously don't like it.
We have both quit the gym, and it was probably one of the best decisions of my life.
Saves you so much money.
Exactly.
And it was like going into a torture chamber.
Yeah.
And people would, like, I also saw some horrible people, like, making fun of other people in there. And I was just like, this isn't a nice place. It smells, it's sweaty. You try and go into the weight section and it's full of, like, men who think they're, like, Bear Grylls or something.
Yeah. We just get very angry that we've been sold this whole lie of you need to diet. And something that I kind of said to Kirsty that I've seen on, like, my feed, my Instagram feed, since purging, like, my account of, like, any bad body stuff, was that if, like, diets themselves worked, there would be no need for a new diet. And I'll explain that a little bit in the sense of every, like, new month, every, like, new magazine or, like, Fit Tea or whatever that comes out, they're always like, oh, this is, like, the newest tea with the newest ingredients, or this is the newest diet that you need to do this, this and this to get this body. And if like diets worked themselves, then the first diet years and years ago that came out would have worked.
Yeah.
Like, how can they be like saying one year that this is the diet that will lose you 15 pounds in a week, and then next year be like, oh, but this is a new one. Like, the whole concept of diets is you do it and then the weight is gone. Like,
yeah, obviously they're not working, otherwise they wouldn't need to keep thinking up new ones, which also don't work. So it's never gonna like stop. They're never gonna land on one diet that will just be like the magic diet.
and the whole reason this is such a great idea is because people are buying into this. Like, they are literally,
Yeah.
you are spending money for either the magazine subscription or like to buy the details of the diet or the pills or whatever it is this thing is selling. And like,
Yeah.
because diets don't work, just to reiterate that, you will keep buying it and you will keep like giving your money to these people who
You
know
think
what they're doing.
It's as if it's like your fault that it's not worked.
Yeah.
But it's not, because they don't
never-
work to begin with.
There are people who will do those diets to a T. They will drink all the stupid juice, they will take all the laxatives.
They're terrible. They literally, if you're buying that like skinny tea or detox
It literally
tea,
just makes you shit out your guts.
yeah, and it's not gonna, after like 2 weeks, you might think, oh, my stomach looks so flat. It's because you've pooed out like all of the food in there.
Do you know what that can lead to?
Mm.
It can literally lead to you eroding your digestive system.
Can you imagine how bad that is for you? And then it's not even gonna last. 2 weeks are over.
You might get a stoma, and that isn't like a diss at anyone who has a stoma, because it's a serious condition. But if you give yourself, if you like do that to yourself by following such a dangerous concept of diet culture just to get a skinnier stomach, you're gonna
For 2 weeks.
you're gonna maybe risk your life
It's ridiculous.
and your whole digestive system for a skinny stomach for 2 weeks.
Just take that in for like
How
a
does that?
minute.
How does that?
And you're
health?
paying for that.
And a body that functions and it keeps you alive versus flat stomach. I think I was just like, it doesn't even fit on the screen.
Okay, maybe we should think about how you need to work from like the inside. Like, if in the new year you're like, oh, you know, things aren't good, I need to like lose all this weight and go on a diet and stuff, and then I'll make myself happy. Maybe there's something else like going on, you know, like inside that's not gonna be fixed by like losing weight and stuff, because usually that's why.
That's the thing. If any of you are here from before, which is shocking, and thank you for sticking out and for still being interested in any of this, but you may have already heard Kirsty and I talk about our own experiences in
Excuse me.
being sucked into this diet culture. And I know that, going off what Kirsty just said, I always wanted to lose weight and it was never enough. Like, no amount of weight was ever enough, no body shape was ever perfect enough, and it was just that whole thing of like, enough. It was never enough. And that sounds like the Greatest Showman song.
I was gonna say, could you play it?
But it is like the fact that there was so much more going on in my head. Like, it was just developing into an eating disorder, which it then remained. You don't really, like, unfortunately, also once you get yourself that deep into like diet culture and putting yourself through that, then it's very hard to get rid of those thoughts.
Takes ages.
Yeah, we are only like a year and a half ish into our recoveries, and it's hard.
Takes so long. And the reason I say that is because like I know that the reason I started like losing weight like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, was because I was like, like I could just tell nothing else was like going right. Like, it felt like everything else was like out of control. So I was like, I'm just gonna start going running, and then I'm gonna start changing what I eat, and then I'm gonna go to the gym like every day. And it's just like you forget why you even started, and everything else that was bad is still bad. You just have something new to focus on.
Yeah.
And like once that's all going into like a shit pile, it's all the bad stuff's still going to be there, so you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Deep.
And that's the other hard thing, is you will then have a lot more stuff to deal with, in the sense of, like, as we just said, dealing with the eating side and the diet side of things is hard enough as it is. If you have started that and you've, like, piled that onto other issues and you haven't dealt with those either, then coming out the other end is gonna be a lot harder. And like, the reason we say that, like, we don't want to scare anyone that wants to, like, recover, but it is, like, definitely worth it. But we're kind of, like, saying this to try and help you avoid getting into that mess in the first place. Like, trying to explain to people before they get into, like, having an eating disorder, like, what is going on in the world and why it's wrong, and that it's not gonna get you any better. Like,
yeah, like, if you are thinking, because this is, like, aimed at people who are at risk of maybe trying to, like, lose weight this year. Yeah. So if you are thinking of doing that, think about the reason why, because obviously you might have a reason that you're like, you know what, I'm still going to do it, like, after you watch this. But you might also realise that, like, actually the reason that you are wanting to lose weight is, like, nothing to do with losing weight. So maybe just think about it. Because you could, like, save yourself a lot of trouble and pain and money.
I think there are very limited reasons that I now would say to people are a reason to lose weight.
I can't think of, I was trying to think of some just then, but I was like,
It's never, I don't think it should ever be about losing weight. Obviously there are cases, like, maybe if you have something wrong with your body, maybe you have, like, too much, like, your arteries are blocked from fatty foods.
That's like an actual health related thing. A lot of people are like, I just want to get healthier.
And that's not a real thing.
No, but like what you said, that's like an actual medical thing.
Then I can understand, but that shouldn't be about the weight on your body. That should just be about adding nice things, like
helping
vegetables
inside your body, not like focusing on how you look.
Yeah, and that again shouldn't. It's hard. It's very hard. It's like always like a really hard subject to talk about properly. But we don't mean that.
Excuse me.
Sorry. There's still also, like, so much stigma around what food is healthy, what food isn't healthy. I don't give myself those boundaries anymore. Food is food in my head now. It wasn't before, but the way that I have now looked at it is add good things to your diet, in the sense of things that have a lot of nutrients, a lot of good, like, vitamins for you, but don't take away any of the other stuff. Maybe minimize it if you're in a health risk situation, but if you aren't, then what are you doing? Like, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I wrote in an article that I published recently in my uni newspaper. But basically, the fact that society, body shapes, and, like, stuff like that has changed so much. So, like, obviously in, like, the Victorian ages, being really, really small was, like, the ideal, and then it became, like, it's just changed. And I remember my sister, she's in her 20s, and I remember when she was, like, sort of our age, a little bit younger, like, in high school, kind of, I hope she doesn't mind me saying, but she was bullied because she had a slightly curvier figure than some of the other girls did, and that was such a shocking thing. And I also, if anybody else, this might be a really random thing, but if anyone else has seen Project Runway recently, because I binge watched the entire, like, season 10 to season, I don't know, this is irrelevant, but basically they were, like, saying, oh, this guy designed a dress which had false hips on it, so, like, kind of the hourglass figure, and the judge was like, why would anyone ever want to have bigger hips? Why would anyone want to look, why would any woman want to look like she has bigger hips or a bigger bum? Fast forward 5 years and look at who people look up to nowadays. Women with big hips, big butts, big boobs. That is what is now the deemed beautiful, but it wasn't 5 years ago. And
literally.
The fact that, like, it's just a construct. It's literally, like, 1 year this is pretty, next year this is pretty, and it's false. And I don't know how to explain it unless I say this can sound really bad, but in 5 years from now, the body that you are in currently might be people's ideals, and the fact you will be like, I've put on all of this work and this pain that you've like gone to the gym and you've changed your diet and you've done all these things to get to the weight that is deemed pretty now, and then people change it, and then you have to go through it all again, and it's literally for nothing. Like, what do you gain? I don't...
Yeah, if you keep chasing it, whatever is the ideal, you're never gonna actually like reach it, because it's always gonna change. So it's literally pointless.
Because it changes in your own head as well.
Yeah.
Another thing is, like, you, at least for me, like, my goalposts and how much weight I lost always changed. It was like, oh, this is how much weight I want to be at. This is the clothes size I want to get to. And then once I got to that size, it was like, oh, it's still not enough, so I'm going to keep losing more weight. And then that's how you fall into being underweight. And
when you realise as well that, like, we were talking about numbers on, like, sizes of clothes. I didn't tell you, but I weighed myself recently.
Oh, that's relevant.
I know, I was just like, for ages I was like,
I was tempted the other day.
See, for ages I was like that. I was like, I was like, no, I'm not going to, because I don't think I'd be okay with whatever it was. And then I did it the other day, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I literally, after I did it, I went downstairs again, and I was like, I don't even care. I forgot about it like 5 minutes after, because that's the thing, it is literally a number. And if you, like, things like, you know, the BMI thing, honestly, it's interesting. It's not good. I don't think, anyway. And I would not say to anyone, put your weight into BMI. But there's so much more
than... There's so much more going on than your height and your body weight. There's, like, there's so many more things that counter into your health than that.
Because, honestly, I remember when I was, like, before I'd lost weight, I would, like, use the BMI thing.
Yeah.
And it would, like, tell me something, and I was like, oh no, oh my god, like, I'm, like, in a danger zone. I literally wasn't. Like, if you'd seen me, you would have been like, there's nothing wrong with her. And then, when I lost weight, I put it back in, and I was like, for me, I was so unhealthy, like, for my body, it was unhealthy. Because, like, things happened, and things stopped happening, that showed that, like, it was not okay for my body. But in the BMI thing, it was like, yeah. And I wasn't sure if I should
for any of
it.
those that didn't get that.
And it was like, oh, you're healthy, you're, like, in the middle. I was like, well, I'm not though, am I? And then when put the weight back on, it was like, my body was like, woo, everything's good, it's functioning. And then the BMI thing would probably say I'm about to die or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, don't use it.
Yeah.
Silly.
I mean, I don't want to weigh myself yet because I know I'm not in a place yet.
I wouldn't.
But,
yeah, I did. But
yeah, it is a weird one because I don't even want to. Like, I only got tempted the other day because I was at my sister's house and it was underneath the sink, like, just, like, there, and I was like, should I?
Yeah.
Nah.
So you only do it when you know that it literally will have no... It will just go over your head.
Because I used to weigh myself every morning, and I would write it down every single day and, like, count how many kilograms I'd lost or whatever. And it was such a guilt, like, if I woke up one morning and I hadn't lost any weight, or I'd put on weight, and it's literally like, it would be probably water. I would have drunk some water. And I was like, oh my god, I put on weight. Another thing I was gonna say, kind of off a point we discussed, is, like, I think this might have been the first Christmas where I allowed myself to eat without any thought. So I literally ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, how much of it I wanted, and, like, I think I am also getting to a point where I know when I'm full. Like, I actually lost indicators of when I was full and when I was hungry because of binge eating and stuff. But I'm actually starting to know when I'm hungry and when I'm not hungry, which is normal. Like, it's a normal human technique of survival. So I've got that back, that's great. But I actually I was, like, very full a lot of Christmas, because Christmas has a lot of tasty food that I want to eat. So I was very full a lot of the time, but I was happy with that. And I was actually saying to my boyfriend that it's the whole thing of when you can't have it, you want it. And when you can, it's like, okay, that's fine, I'll have it if I want it. And it was like, I actually think I don't know, this isn't a fact, because of the fact that I'm not counting it anymore, but I think I ate less chocolate this year than I would normally. And that's, it's just a weird thing that I'm not saying, like, I'm, again, not saying that chocolate's good or bad or anything like that. I don't want to say that about food anymore. But it was interesting to me that something that gave me so much guilt before at Christmas, this year I didn't even really want much of, because I knew I could. I knew I could have it whenever I want, and I could have as much of it as I wanted. So I was like...
I had that with, like... To be honest, I ate a lot of chocolate this Christmas, and it was great. Like, I wouldn't... That's the thing, I wouldn't have let myself have that, like, ish last year, but definitely not the year before. So, like, being able to do that, it was just nice. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I ate less of the, like, savoury food. And again, it was just because I was like, I mean, it's nice, but I'm full.
Yeah.
And also I had other stuff to focus on. Like, I was able to go and, like, play a board game or whatever and not be thinking, oh my god, should I eat that? Should I not? Should I eat it? I was just able to play the game, and I was like, if I want to eat it later, I will, but, like, I don't have to.
You get to focus on the actual important things, which is called living, rather than focusing on what you ate, or what you might eat,
should or not,
when you're going to eat next, and how much you're going to eat.
It's not, yeah.
It takes up so much of your brain, it really does, and then I feel like I missed a lot of my life the past 2-3 years, because it was literally think about food, think about the gym, think about what I'm going to eat, think about how hungry I am but I'm not going to eat, go to the gym, all of this stuff. It was just literally like there was no space for anything else. And now I feel, it sounds so cringy, but my life is so much more full of other stuff than just eating. And
it's so good, isn't it?
I love eating also. Like, eating has always been one of my favourite things. I've always been, like, ever since I was a very small kid, I've loved food. And I don't know many people who don't love food, because food is amazing.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just had, like, a nice Christmas where I got to go to my boyfriend's house. I had 2 Christmases, which was wonderful. I had a Christmas on Christmas Eve with my boyfriend's family, and we had a full-on Christmas dinner.
That's amazing.
And then I woke up the next morning and I had a second Christmas at my house, and I had another whole Christmas dinner. And then I had Boxing Day, and I went to a pub with my extended family, and I had a load of pub food. And I don't feel guilty about it, because it was great, and it was tasty, and I had a great time.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't feel as embarrassed as well to eat around people. I still have a little bit of like a about, like, anyway, just in general. But like when I was volunteering at Christ is at Christmas. You should volunteer. But like, this is like a really silly little thing, but I was standing outside my mum, and like I was all wrapped up in a hat and all, everything, and then there was like the people coming round who were like the leaders, and they're like, oh, do you guys want any hot drinks or anything? And I was like, oh, I was like, actually, yeah. And I'm so glad I had one, because it was like hot and nice, and normally I would just be like, oh no, I'm fine, thank you, because like I do get embarrassed asking for things from people, like food or drink. Yeah, but it was really nice to say yes. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, yeah, I got a nice drink. I wasn't embarrassed to say yeah. So,
say yes to food.
Say yes to food and drink.
And good mental health, please. If you don't listen to this video, the only thing I want you to do right now, and again, you can say no, you can just turn this off and just don't listen to me. That's completely fine. You have the power. You have the one with the pause and the play button.
Yeah, that's true.
But please just go and research it a little bit. Like, we have some facts we're about to tell you that we've researched and we think people should know, and were shocking to us, even though we have already, like, delved very far into this.
I literally read a book about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I genuinely think this, and it's really hard, because it's like, whose like side of the story should you buy into? The people who say diet culture is great, or the people who think it isn't? One is helping your mental health, and the other one isn't.
Yeah.
But please just type into Google facts and statistics about diet culture, and you will see it for yourself. Just please.
Doesn't even have to be like bad facts, does it? It's
No,
just like facts.
I just want you to read the facts. Have both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And that is it. So
We have some.
Speaking of facts,
Sorry.
we have prepared some earlier.
Here's one we made earlier.
Yep. Well, we didn't make it.
No,
Statisticians and
true.
surveys and
We
people
have the references as well,
yes.
which is good.
So we have 4. Even though it's shining on my face in a really interesting. It's like I'm going to tell you a horror story. Basically, is. I'm sorry.
Diet culture is a horror story.
There were 14 on the site that we found. We've just chosen 4 because
We don't want to bore you.
And we think it's kind of your own responsibility from
Exactly.
here on out.
You can go have a look at like these are like the most shocking ones, we thought, at least.
So, yeah.
Almost half of American children between 6 to 9 years old want to be thinner, and half of 9 to 10-year-old girls are dieting. Like, already. 9 to 10-year-old girls.
And 6 to 9-year-olds.
Sorry,
6 years old. At 6 years old...
they want to be thinner. It's like, I'm not being funny, but when I was doing psychology in sixth form, it was like kids who had looked at Barbie dolls and played with them, compared to girls and like boys as well, who had played with like just dolls that I think were like, I don't know, they were like Emmy dolls or something. I guess they haven't got the same figure as the Barbie doll. The ones who played with the Barbie doll all said they wanted to be thinner, like, and the other ones didn't. It's because the Barbie's like...
What you see is what you learn. That is the whole process of childhood. What you see is what you learn.
Exactly.
And
it starts so young.
Yeah.
So
our next fact is the obesity industry will likely top £315 billion this year, which is nearly 3% of the overall US economy. And if that doesn't tell you how successful telling you that you need to diet is, I don't know what it is.
Think of Weight Watchers. Think of how many people go to Weight Watchers and pay money to go there every week. Just to spend the rest of the week restricting what they're eating and just being like, I can't go out, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, how much did I lose? And you're paying all that money.
Literally £315 billion. Do you know how much we could like do with £300 billion in the world rather than lose weight?
Paying money to basically make your mental health shit.
And decrease your size. That's it.
Which might actually make you unhealthy.
And have the health problems that they keep telling you that you're trying to avoid.
And then you've got to pay. If you're in a country where you don't have the NHS, we're very lucky we have the NHS, you're going to then have to pay medical bills, aren't you? Like, to fix all those medical problems that were caused by using laxatives.
Okay.
So annoyed! Okay. At least 10 million females and 1 million males are fighting a life and death battle with an eating disorder. Like, right now.
A life and death eating disorder. 10 million.
And it's males as well, because a lot
Yeah.
of people think it's just...
It's really not.
Yeah, it's like the very stereotypical, like, oh, teenage girls are affected by this. Anyone who looks like any way, like any size as well. It's not just people who are thin.
And yeah, that's the thing is like, even, this is the biggest misconception, is even the people who do fit into the ideal and like this body shape for right now for women, there's like 2 body shapes that you can be. It's really either the really slim with abs and all this stuff, or really curvy. Those are kind of the two,
like, but still within
the right proportions.
Yeah, like big bum but a tiny waist.
These are kind of the 2 for women, and for men it's kind of stayed the same through a larger portion of time. It's men with big muscles, lots of abs,
6-pack, no hair, never any hair, like here or there or anything.
For a lot of men, like majority of the men don't look like that.
No,
so
like
you don't.
models,
Yeah,
it's their living. It's literally their job to look that way.
Because the thing is, I understand that some women do just have that hourglass or the slim body naturally.
Yeah.
But with men with the ripped 6-pack, you have to work for that. There is no, I'm not going to say no, I can't ever say no, but there's very little men that naturally have 6-packs without doing anything. That just doesn't happen. So, yeah, a lot of men will be sort of struggling with this. So this is our last fact, and I think probably one of the most shocking that we read.
Yeah.
And we didn't even delve that far into, like, statistics. We just kind of grazed the surface a little bit. So if you are interested and you follow my advice of going down into the deep dark internet, then you'll probably find worse ones than this. But here goes. Anorexia is the most lethal psychiatric disorder, carrying a 6-fold increased risk of death, which is 4 times the death risk from major depression. I'm just gonna leave that one there. So I think that's all we wanted to say for this video. I don't really know how to sum this up.
So what do you want our thumbnail? like how,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
we've both embraced everything.
So Kirsty and I are both roughly similar. The only way I can describe this to you guys is like size in clothing. That's probably the only way you guys will be able to put a thing to it. But we're roughly the same size in that, but we have different body shapes.
Yeah.
And we decided that, like, the thumbnail, we kind of wanted to represent that we have different body shapes, but they're both equally as beautiful, and we both love them, and other people love them, and some people might prefer Kirsty's, some people might prefer mine, some people might prefer something completely different.
But everyone's different, like, yeah, because we only were showing like ours, but there's so many different, just everyone's different basically, even us two. It just shows how kind of different we are, even from the thumbnail. But it's like neither of us are like trying to be like the other one or trying to change that anymore, at least.
I don't know whether this is possible because I don't have a massive following on here, and you guys don't tend to engage very much with me, which I'm taking personally. I'm joking, I'm not really. But I would love to start maybe some sort of like hashtag on Instagram, like, you know, and you can like have like sort of a group of images, and maybe you guys could do like the little heart on your bellies like me and Kirsty have on our thumbnail, and hashtag it. The hashtag is KMBellyLove.
Yep.
Yes. I just thought it might be interesting. There'll probably be no interaction in this whatsoever, but it'd be cool if there is. Really, really cool. We will be really happy to see that someone maybe is benefiting from us rambling.
Yes.
We're sorry about the rambling.
Sorry. You have a lot of feelings.
Yes. So if you guys like that video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you think that anybody else would benefit from this, please share and subscribe. I
Do.
really want to make more videos, but I don't know if I can promise that in the next year, only because uni room lighting is really bad. I will try and invest in some better lighting, so you will find out. You will be the first people to find out if I make new videos, obviously. But if not, I will be moving into a new apartment in like June, so you might be getting some more videos there.
Ooh.
Okay, bye guys!
Bye!